The property changer is without a doubt the most useful palette in our interface. With it, we have access to nearly every changeable aspect of our geometry. One thing is certain, the more you use the property changer, the more you'll love the power this palette gives you. We're going to take a look at the property changer, so I'm going to open a drawing. I'm going to come up and click my open icon, and we're going to go inside the Chapter 13 folder, located inside our exercise files directory. And I'm going to open up drawing number 2, the property changer drawing. So we'll highlight that guy and click open. Now on my screen, I've got a drawing that contains several AutoCAD elements. I've got hatch, dimensions, text, and some basic shapes. Let's bring up our property changer palette and make some changes. Now my property changer palette happens to be anchored to the left side of my screen. If yours is not visible on your interface, you can always turn him on by coming up to the property changer icon. Now I'm going to be using the property changer several times during this session, so I'm going to hover over the icon to bring it up, and then I'm going to come down and click on my auto hide button to lock him in a docked state. Now the first thing I want you to notice is all of the settings that we can change using the property changer. I'd also like you to notice that these settings are grouped under major headings. Sometimes there's more settings than what will fit on our interface. If that's the case, we can always click and hold on this scroll bar and pull down such that we can see all of the settings. Another thing we can do is we can collapse the headings. If I click the little chevron icon, the heading will collapse. This is another way to free up some space. I can close these guys up so I can have access to some of the other settings. Let's try and use the property changer. I'm going to start by selecting a circle. Let me zoom in on the thumb button, and I'm going to click this circle. When I do, watch the property changer. As soon as I click this, the property changer understands that I grabbed a circle, and now the settings that I see are related to a circle. In my geometry area, if I come down, I can see the radius of this circle happens to be 0.1. Let me click in this field and we'll change the radius to 0.2. And when I hit enter, my circle now has a different radius. I can also change the diameter I wish or the circumference. We can't even draw a circle based on circumference, but if I know a circumference I'd like to use, I can always select an existing circle and set it to whatever I like. Let's change our circumference to 0.75. And that guy instantly updates. I'm going to hit escape to clear the grips. And let's try and make a change to some text. I'm going to back up a little bit and we'll pan over. I've got some text right here. Let me click on this text to select it. Notice the property changer adjusts itself again. Now I'm seeing settings that are related to text. Now some of these are creeping off the bottom of my screen, so I'm going to grab my little scroll bar here. I'm going to click and hold and pull this down so I can see all of my text settings. Notice from here, I could change the contents of my text. That happens to be what the text says right now. I could change its style if I wish. I could change its justification, or its height, or its rotation. I'm going to click in the rotation field. Let's change the rotation of our text to 15 degrees. I'm going to type in 15 and hit enter, and that text is now 15 degrees. I'm going to change its justification. Let me click in the justify area. It's set to top left. Let's set that to top center. Now it's center justified. I'm going to hit escape to clear the grips, and let's change something else. Let's try a dimension. Now this dimension happens to be on the wrong layer. Let me click on it to select it, and once again, my property changer adjusts itself to dimension settings. Now there are several settings here. We'll look at them in just 1 second. Let's address the incorrect layer first. If I go up under the General heading, every object that you click on will have access to the General settings. This is where I can change an object's color, or layer, or line type scale. Let's change the layer. I'm going to click in the layer field, grab the drop down, and I can see a listing of all of the layers that are in my drawing. Let me select the correct layer, and when I do, that dimension is put onto that layer. This is just another way of moving an entity from one layer to another. Now I have several headings at the bottom of my property changer. I'm going to click the chevron to close this guy up. And when I do, notice the 7 headings match the 7 tabs that are in our dimension style. That means that I can open up these headings and I can make setting changes on a dimension by dimension basis. Let's try one. I'm going to go to primary units. Let me open up that one. And once again, he's creeping off my screen, so let's click on the scroll bar and pull him down. Right now, the precision is set to 2. Let's change that. I'm going to click the drop down, and I will set this to the even integer. When I do, notice that dimension changes, but the other ones remain the same. This is another way that I can tweak dimensions on an individual basis without touching my dimension style. Let me hit escape. I want to look at one more object. Let's pan over because I have some hatch over here. Let's say I'd like to change the properties of my hatch. If I click the hatch pattern, once again, my property changer resets itself to hatch settings. And in the pattern group, I can see all of the settings related to my hatch. Here's one for my pattern name. I can click this. If I click the ellipse, I can go in and I can select another hatch pattern. Let me set it for ANSI 37 and click OK. I can also change the angle or the scale or the spacing from here. Make sure and experiment with the property changer. It can be a very valuable tool. At this point, I'm going to hit my escape key and clear the grips. When in doubt, if you need to make a change to an existing entity in your drawing, whether it be a text object or a dimension or a hatch pattern, go to your property changer first. The property changer is literally your one-stop shop for nearly every changeable property of your objects.